So when it comes to someone you look up to, they take care of themselves, they do everything they can to at least look their best so they can attract other people. And I just wanted to say that, for example, when you do have someone you look up to, it's because I feel like you do need that in order to take action. Because if no one's telling you or no one's showing you of how things are done, you realize you're not going to take action at all. And sometimes when people mean action, it's because everyone has different starting points, but then you have to realize why you're doing something in the first place. So that's what I want to begin by saying, because you need to realize by taking action, it's because you're doing it for other people, you're doing it for yourself, you want a better life for yourself, but then also you want to help other people. You realize by taking action, it gives you more clarity. And the more times you're doing something, it's because you're keeping promises to yourself. And that's the way that I look at it. I don't want it to be that you complain, even though you know what you need to be doing. So for example, the reason why people may not take action is because they're scared of rejection, they're scared of failing in front of other people, but then also they feel like there's a bit of discomfort because it's something that they haven't tried before. You have to realize the older that someone is, they didn't really have anyone to look up to. And even if they did, it may not have been the best example, because who you're looking up to is very important, because the life that you want for yourself, it could be different or very similar. When you look up to someone, they're setting an example, they're setting a standard, but then you have to realize you need to set yourself an expectation as well. Because when you say you're going to do something, it's very important to do it, whether it's in your career, whether it's in your relationship, or really your fitness. Because when it comes to your career, that's what most people think about when it comes to being independent. That you have your career, you have the life that you want, but you have to realize it's also down to the decisions that you make every single day. Because even me waking up now, I had to get ready, I had to know what I'm doing for today. And it's very important that when you get ready and you know what you're doing for today, it's because no one's going to really do it for you. But then you don't want to have that mentality that things are given to you. I'm going to say this because if you have this mentality that things are going to be given to you, you have to realize that when things are given to you, you either didn't earn it or someone felt really bad for you to give it to you. But then also sometimes you work really hard, but then you didn't get what you wanted. So that's why someone wanted to give you something as like a reward or recognition. So it could be one of those three examples. If you have this mentality that things are going to be given to you, you don't try as hard, but then sometimes you take shortcuts. When you start to take shortcuts, you don't see the hard work that it really takes to really keep something. Let's say I have 100,000 followers and then I have 1,000 subscribers. You have to understand, because I gained it so fast, I can also lose it. When it comes to a relationship, where I'm going with this, when it comes to a relationship or really your career, you're gaining followers, I just wanted to say that how fast you gain it, you can also lose it fast as well. So you have to realize that how fast you gain a relationship, they can lose interest fast. And when they start to lose interest, you start to wonder, why did they lose interest? It's because you never knew the person, you don't even know if you have anything in common. You have to realize that some people get into a relationship where they don't improve on their looks at all. You don't want it to be that the person that you're with in a relationship is because of your money, it's because of what you give to them. But then when you don't give it to them and you no longer have your job, you realize that that person will choose someone else. So that's why who you are as a person, you're going to attract that type of people. And in terms of your career, let's say that you get rich quickly. You realize that it's really hard for you to really keep the money. You don't really have a stable job. You don't have a side hustle. So that's what I'm going to say, because these things take time. And you have to realize that the way people look at you, it doesn't really matter, as long as what you're doing, it has a result. Because some people are going to make you feel bad that you have no job at the moment. Some people, they show off their success, but then they didn't tell you like when they started. When it comes to your success, you could have started recently, but someone could have started like years ago, but they won't tell you that. And some people, they don't really talk about their struggles, they don't show their struggles. And when other people start to look at them, they only show the good bits about themselves. And you have to realize that when people have attention, it's because some people crave it, but then some people don't. And you don't have to be telling people what you're doing all the time. But you have to realize that when the attention's on you, it's because you want to teach people something rather than just showing off to people. You know, for example, when other people give you negative comments, you shouldn't really listen to it, because when it comes to negative comments, I do get it that these are thoughts that you think about in your head. But when you take action, it's because even though you have doubt, even though you have negative thoughts, you could even be around negative people, you have to realize that you still have to do what you want to do. You need to still do the things you want to do, but then you have to realize you're after results and not people's validation. And you have to realize that people do come and go. And it's very important to do the things that you said you want to do, no matter what people think about you. Because everyone has things that they want in this life. Everyone has different things that they want. And you have to understand that when it comes to other people, they don't see the things that you see. And they don't have the same visions that you do for yourself. You know, the main title of this video, where you're forced to be independent, is because from a young age, someone else was always like telling you what to do. You know, when you're told from a young age that something is right, something is wrong, you don't really question people because you don't know any better. And you have to realize that when you're younger, it's because some people think you're naive, some people may think you're not responsible, but then you have to realize that it's who you are as a person and what it is that you want. And you realize over time that you can be motivated, but it's very important to be disciplined. It's very important to see things through, because you don't want to be that person where you start things and then you stop, and then you start things again and then you stop. It's very important to start things, see things through, and realize that the people that are here for you, they are going to be the ones that support you, because you have to understand not everyone wants the best for you. You have to realize the people that are giving you pressure is because they don't understand what you're going through. I do get it, there'll be times where you want to crash out, you realize that you're breaking down in tears, but you have to understand that no one really understands what you're going through, and no one's really thinking about the same things you're thinking about, because they're so focused on themselves. But you have to realize, because other people are focused on themselves, when they are stressed out, they put their stress on you. So when people make mistakes, it's because they won't admit it in the moment, but when you give people time to actually think about it, you realize that it's not only their fault, but it's also yours. And I do get it that you need to take accountability when things aren't going your way, but you have to understand that when it comes to being independent, it's mainly just about the decisions that you make. And it's not really about who you're around, because who you're around, that's when you become more dependent on other people. You have to realize that you still do the things you want to do, even if no one's watching you, even if no one's supporting you, even if no one's cheering you on, because you don't want it to be that you don't do anything unless someone is there with you. When people put pressure on you, it's because they see potential in you as well. It's not always negative, but for the most part, it is negative. Because people have an expectation of you. You have to realize when people put pressure on you, it's because they have an expectation on you. They expect you to do this by this certain age. They expect you to have your life together by a certain age. And I just wanted to say that when people put pressure on you, even though it is positive where they see potential in you, it can also be a lot of pressure, because the stress that they have, they're putting it on you. And I do get it, it's not fair, but it's just an expectation. And I do get it that when you become independent, you may think that it's all happening all at once, but some people start from a young age and then it happens gradually. For example, if you're in your household and you're young, you're going to start off by doing chores. And I do get it that when people are younger, some people had to be paid in order to do chores. And I never understood that, but let me just continue. Because for example, you know when you get paid to do chores, when you should be doing chores anyway, in terms of cleaning the house, in terms of making sure the house is tidy, that you add things to the house as well, you go shopping. I do get it that when people are paid to do chores, it makes people so dependent on other people. You know when you're waiting to get paid for doing chores when you're younger, you realize that it's not going to be the same when you're older. Because when you're younger, you're not really working. But also, when you're older and you start working, you still have to do chores because everyone has like things that they do. And you have to realize when it comes to chores, these are things that are expected of you. Because if you don't do chores, there's no food in the house, your house isn't clean. The main video message is that things aren't given to you, and you have to realize that you have to be the one to do it for yourself. And I do get it that things are unfair, things may not go the way you wanted it to be, but you have to realize that there's only one of you and you have things that you want to do. And no matter how long it takes you, you have to understand when you go towards the path that is meant for you and you do everything you can to go all in, you realize you're going to meet the right people along the way. So that's all I got to say. Let me know your thoughts about this video, and if you like it, if you feel like I missed anything, let me know so that I can do a part 2 very soon.